Hello YouTube, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Ambassador 2500C reel by ABU Garcia. It's made in Sweden, and it's a nice reel. Ken picked it up today at estate or flea market and brought it in, and we're going to see about taking this thing down, tearing it down, cleaning it up, and getting it ready to go back out. So stick along, let's go along for the ride, and hopefully I won't do any damage to this like I did yesterday's reel. Let's start off by taking off, let's see, we can't take off the handle yet because we've got this E-clip right here. So we're going to ever so gently get in here and remove this E-clip. There we go. Take it off. Set that over to the side. Now we can take off the handle. And that brings us down to this tension washer. It's got the, see, it's got the beveled shape a little bit. And this one's been reshaped a little bit by somebody, it appears. One side's bent more than the other. I'm going to clean it up, and we're going to add just a little bit of tension bend on this other side over here. Like so. There, now it's, well, now, there we go. There. And what that'll do is it will help to keep the drag washer from vibrating and coming loose. So we'll take that off. Let's go ahead and take our drag star loose. And there we go. That's got the drag star off. Now we've got, let's see, yeah, anti-reverse is working. So ahead, we've got two more tension washers. These have a slight curve to them, or normally they do. This one here does not. Those are just two regular washers. Okay. Now we've got this sleeve. We'll take that out. Set that over here, and that's going to head and remove the side cover and put the pliers back over here out of the way. We'll unscrew these thumb screws like so, and see about removing the side cover. All right, and this is all pretty well self-contained in here. There is a spring. See the spring that's holding the bearing. Now if you look inside the spool over here, you will see this one is missing the brakes. It does not have brakes, so I'm going to take a picture of this so that when Ken goes to sell this, he will be able to show that it is missing the brakes inside. And we're back to our video. Okay, we're going to slide this out. Well, we're going to try to slide this out. It's in there pretty good with some old grease, it feels like. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, this is missing the two brakes that go on here. I will have to look and see if I've got any. I don't believe I have any spare brakes. Sorry about the coughing. I was taking a drink a while ago, and it's went down the wrong windpipe, and I've been coughing ever since. Okay, we're going to remove this side cover from the opposite side, and it's got a keeper on it to keep it from coming all the way off. There we go. And now we should be able to remove this side cover. Oh yeah, look at the old nasty grease in this. I told you it had some old grease in it. Well, I wasn't kidding. It really does have some old nasty grease. I think the wise choice on this one is going to be to put this one in the parts cleaner. I think that's going to be the best way to deal with this. What I'm afraid of, though, is this is plastic right here, and I don't want that to dissolve. Okay, take the cap off. So Yeah, we're going to scrub it clean just the way it is. We're not going to put it in the parts cleaner. I don't want to melt this plastic and these two plastic pieces, because this is a nice reel and I don't want it to be damaged. So we're going to give it a shot with some WD-40. Let that start penetrating into, and this can is a very old can. I don't know how old it is, but I inherited it from my dad. And I think it's finally out of, spray. So let's get a new can. All right, I'll set that over to the side and let that soak for a while. All right, let's see what we got holding this side together. Okay. We have a very, very dirty old worm gear. We're going to bring this up to here, and we're going to unscrew this screw cap. Take that off. There we go. And be careful. Look, there may be a washer inside it. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Okay, and then we want to remove the pawl from the end here. There we go. And yeah, it's a very dirty pawl, but we'll be cleaning that up. Okay, with that done, hoping we can take this apart, but I don't see what's holding it together yet. There's a lot of old grease in here. It almost looks as though there's a plastic clip under here, but we're gonna take this, see if we can get this, clean this old grease out. Well, having learned my lesson on the last reel that I missed, this should just pop out, I think. But having learned my lesson from the last one, I'm not going to try to apply any force to that. We're going to try to clean everything right where it sits. We're going to make sure that this bearing down here turns freely, and it does. We've got another bearing that we want to turn freely in here, and it turns freely as well. So we're just going to clean and blow those out. Okay, I'm going to spray this again. Good with some WD-40. Let it soak. And we'll come back to that in a few minutes. In the meantime, we are going to take this side cover apart. This is your main gear. As everything else in here is running, let's go ahead and remove these two screws. Okay, there's the two screws. I probably should have flipped this over prior to removing this. Okay, I gotta see how that fit down inside there. I don't believe it's like that. Okay, these are little, you can, I don't know if you can see it very well. Let me blow this up. Okay, these are little ramps right here on each side of this yoke. And the yoke always fits in like this. Like that. There we go. And see, the ramps sit on that plastic block right there. And that's going to lift that up and down as it comes in and out. Okay? So, I'm pretty sure I've got that right. But this is definitely different from anything like the Ambassador 5000s and stuff that I've dealt with before. So that's going to sit in there like that. Let's go ahead and lift this back out. It should have come out with it when it came. Let's sit that over here. And let's see what we might have in here. There's the, okay, that comes in like that. It's all plastic in there. So we definitely want to be careful with it that we don't break it. Now when this rotates around, it clicks that back. Here's our anti-reverse. It's got an anti-reverse claw it fits on. Okay, then we do have a normal style tension washer, and that fits under the plastic block, which is a little bit different, but that's okay. All right, now we're going to remove the gear assembly and then our cog right here. Okay, and then do not lose that little brass washer right there. See there, I almost lost it myself. Okay, don't lose that because that is vital to having that work. Okay, let's back this back out before you guys end up outside all the pictures that we're doing. Now this guy here, he fits on right here like this. And this one is definitely stretched out. See how it's got all this free play? Yeah, I mean, see how loose it is? Well, that's not performing its function of anti-reverse very well. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend these tabs in slightly. And if you do it one side at a time, just kind of bend it over until it touches the other side for just a second, and then let it go. It will usually be bent in to where it will do an adequate job of holding. And I think it's got just a hair more to go. But that was really bent out of shape. Okay. Okay. I think that's almost there. You can break these if you get too carried away with them, and so I don't want to break it, but I do want it to be able to function properly. There, I've got it pretty much together there now. It's like, oh yeah, now we've got a good fit. There we go. And that will fit back on there. All right, that'll take care of that. Now, has any of this come off? I don't believe so. This comes down like this. Watch how it works. It comes down like this, and it's going to lock onto here. When you push it all the way in, it locks in each place. Now, what's going to happen is these pieces rotate around. See, there's this cam post right here on the bottom. As that cam post rotates around on here, I'm going to go ahead and remove this so I don't bend it. As this rotates around on here, it's going to push out one side, and it will push out the other side, and that causes it to unhook off of here one side at a time and drop back. So, nice fit. But I still need to scrub this up good. We're going to clean that bearing out good. I'm going to try to blow all the old oils and greases out of there. And got to be careful, though. I don't want to blow something apart with the air compressor. So I'll gently work on that. So let's go ahead, spray some WD-40 in here, let that start to dissolve that grease, and we'll put some on that bearing. Okay, and we'll put a little bit in here. And remember, don't lose that washer that we've got sitting right there. Don't lose it. Okay, let's take a look at our drag. Let's take this dome washer. At first I thought it was missing the drag washer altogether, but it's not. I think it's stuck on right here. There we go. Okay. appears to have a leather drag washer. Yes, it's a leather drag washer. And what we'll do is we will spray a little WD-40 on there to get the old grease off. But then we're going to apply some Cow's Universal Drag Grease to that leather washer. And allow it to soak in good. Don't bend it like I just did. Fortunately, it's still nice and pliable, and it didn't break. Okay. Okay. And we'll apply some drag grease to that when we go to put it back together. We'll spray a little WD-40 in here to clean this out. Oh, this is nasty. All right. And so far, this dome washer is the worst condition part that we found in the whole reel. And I will scrub it up good and see if we can't. I think it's had some moisture damage to it. A little bit of corrosion. And we will see what we can do with that. Yeah. What I'm going to end up doing with this is putting it down on my flat board with a piece of 3000 grit sandpaper and kind of polishing this a little bit. But for now, I'm going to go off camera while I scrub all these parts down, get them all clean and ready to go back together. So I will be back with you in a few minutes. All right, got all the parts pretty well clean, and this worm gear did not want to come out. I didn't push it real hard. I think I probably could have popped it out of the side if I'd really tried hard, but after what happened with the microlight reel, I've opted to err on the side of caution and left it in and cleaned around it. And I think that's smarter. So I've cleaned all the dirt out that I could get out of it. And I do seem to recall that I have not yet cleaned this pawl. Let me clean it off real quick. All right, the pawl's clean. We're going to go ahead. We're going to start off by putting that in first. We'll make that the first thing we put in. We're going to set it in. I think I'm going to need my pliers to pull this off because my fingers don't fit in here very well. All right, we're going to line the pawl up with these teeth facing fore and aft, and then we're going to slide it in just like that. I'm going to stop it right there before it goes all the way in and give it a shot of oil like that, and we'll slide it on down, and then we'll start to rotate this and make sure that it moves fore and aft like it should. Okay, I'm going to put 1 drop of oil here, and I'm going to put a drop of oil on each side right here so that can easily move back and forth. And that pawl's popping up out of there because I don't have the cap on it yet. Pardon that interruption. That was the air compressor going off. All right, we're going to now put the cap on the pawl cover, and we'll screw that back down in there. And I see I've still got some old grease left on there. Let me hit that just a minute with my wire brush. There we go. Turn it a little more. I think there was some more on there. There we go, right there. Hold that in place. All right. And now we'll tighten it down. Okay, we just want to go just until it stops, and then make sure that it turns freely all the way back and forth. When it does, then go ahead and give it that gentle snug up. Now we're going to take and put some oil on the worm gear, and there we are, all well lubricated. All right, now this side plate over here did not come off when I was taking it apart originally. It came apart when I was cleaning, and it goes on over here like this. Okay, like so. Okay. We'll set that over to the side for a moment, and let's take our side case up and start working on it by putting in this gear. And we're going to put a little bit of grease on the shaft here. Somebody had a lot of grease on this originally. I'll tell you what, let's leave that off for a second. And let's put this back in. All right, this goes in with this cut piece facing up. It goes in here, and there is a notch on here. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes into a slot right there. So that this will mount back in here in the right configuration. Okay, like that. And it just sits in there. And let's go ahead then. It should go further in, I think. Because that notch goes all the way through. No, there's one on the front and one on the back. Okay. Well, I'm assuming that goes like that. Kind of interesting. There's one on the front, one on the back. Let's go ahead and put the cover back on. And we'll hold that there, in that position. Now, we're going to set this plastic gear back in, drop it in. That's our intermediate gear for the worm gear. And it did not, or it had a lot of grease on it. And they say that you're not supposed to have to grease plastic gears. But this is going to ride against this metal gear over here. And it's also going to ride against this metal gear here. So, to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and grease it. And let's use my pliers to put this on. See if that will hold it better than trying to use. There we go. That's got the E-clip on, and that will rotate in there like so. All right. And let's add a little bit of grease. We're not going to put a lot of grease. Not anything like what was in here before. We just want to touch here and there of grease. All right. With that done, we're ready to put this side cover back on. Now it's going to line up. These thumb screws here are going to go on these posts, and then we've got this guide post over here that's going to go in that little hole right there. So we can go ahead and set all this in place, line that guide pin up, and there we go. Now we can screw these screws back in. All right, and this cutout here is what's going to fit into that notch on that, and that's going to drive that gear down there. Okay, we're going to add oil now to this bearing one more time. I've oiled it twice already, but we're going to make sure that it's got plenty of oil, so we're going to oil it one more time. And I'm going to put some oil on the spool shaft, and we'll go ahead and set it back down in here, like so. And we got to get it to line up with that gear, and it did. There we go. All right. And we're set up to that point. Now we're going to reassemble this part, And what we're going to do again is we're going to put a light coating of grease on all this base plate down here where this is going to slide. And we're going to put a little grease on the ramps right here on the jack plate. And this, if you look right here, let's zoom in for a second. If you look right here, this is your jack plate, and these are ramps. These push up on the yoke. Here's our yoke right here. And if you look, this yoke has got these little bitty ramps on it. Okay? See how that's got that little bitty ramp right there? Well, that ramp's going to slide on that yoke, or on that jack plate. So we're going to set that down in there like that. And that should hopefully take care of that. Keep it where it belongs. All right, now we're going to take the main gear, and we are still missing a part here. Where's that? Here we go. We're going to put this guy in with, remember this? We did spend all that time bending it to keep it in the right shape. All right. We are going to set this on. Let's put a little grease on this shaft. And then we're going to set this down on here like this. And this anti-reverse claw has got to hit that post right there and slide over it like that. Okay? Now, if you try to turn this right now, what's going to happen is this anti-reverse claw is going to pop right on out. So we're going to leave that alone, not turn it yet. Next thing to go on is going to be this phenolic washer. We're going to slide that on. Then goes our main gear. And before we do that, let's go ahead and grease it. Make sure that didn't come off of there. And we'll set that down and make sure that it matches or mates up with the pinion gear right there. Let's back out. All right, this is our leather gear, our drag washer. And we're going to dip it into some Cow's Universal Drag Grease. And you do not have to use Cow's. Cow's just has some extra additives that allow it to slide better and permeate better. And we're going to put just a little on there, and then I'm just going to pat it right back mostly off like that. That gives us enough on the washer to keep it pliable. I'll slide that down in there like that. Then I also polished off this piece, got it cleaned up. This is our dome washer. It's going to fit down over top like that. And as sweet as all that appears to be, we're ready now to put this side cover together. And we're going to shoot a drop of oil in here. And then we're going to slip this on. We can, if you want, go ahead and put this tension washer on now. Like so. And then this plastic washer, or spacer, goes on. And then these two washers, like that. Then we can set all of this back down on here. And if you want, you can put just a little bit of grease on the inside of this ring right here, so that if that plastic spacer starts to rub, it's got something that's slippery for it to fit on. And all right, now we're going to set this back down in place like that. Make sure that the button's in the hole. Now we're going to turn it upside down and hold it there like that. Hold it in our hand so that it doesn't get away. And now we're going to put these two screws back in. Okay. All right. At this point, we're ready to slide this side cover back on. We've oiled this already. Let's make sure that everything stays on here, the tension washers. But let's go ahead and oil this bearing one more time. We're going to put a little oil on that shaft that was on that pinion, and we'll put a little bit here just to make sure it all slides together well. And let's line up these two bottom holes, shafts with the holes, and slide this on. And might need to rotate the spool just a little bit to get it all to line up. Okay. And let's put the thumb screws back in. All right. Let's put the drag star back on. It's crooked. Don't get it on crooked. Should go on pretty easy if it's straight. That on. We're now going to put the tension washer on. And the handle on. Now, once that's on, we're going to need to put this C-clip back on, or E-clip, whichever one you want to call it. There we go. And then we can tighten the nut back on. And it's crooked. You should be able to tighten it down until it tightens down the handle by hand. If you can't, then it's a good possibility you've got it cross-threaded. There we go. Now the handle's pretty snug, and we should be able to give that an extra turn. There we go. And there we go. All right. We've got a little bit of free play there, which we had none when we started. Go ahead and tighten this up a little bit. Remember, we still are missing those drag brakes, or the brakes. All right, let's see what we got for drag. Tighten it down. Nice drag, okay. Let's loosen it back up. There we go. There you have the Abu Garcia Ambassador 2500C reel. And high speed. It's a nice little reel. I've enjoyed working on this. And after that fiasco with the last reel, it's nice to have something that goes as planned. Now, this is missing the lockdown here. So I'm going to have to look in my supplies and see if I have a lockdown for it. I'll be back. All right, I was able to find a locking plate and a screw for this. I don't know what the original looked like. I went out on eBay and I really didn't see a good one. I did find out that this has the original handle, so that's good to know for Ken. But this locking plate, it fits. It matched up to the hole. The screw fit, so that's what we used. This is a very nice little reel. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what it is you didn't like about it. If you'd like to see further videos like this and you aren't currently subscribed, hey, go ahead and subscribe. Tell your friends if you want to. Let's go ahead and see if we can bump me up to 2,000 people before too long. I'm up to 1,700, I think, currently. And that's not too bad. I'm very happy with those numbers. But for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.